Often elusive and misunderstood, avoidant personality disorder is a crippling condition that afflicts at least 1% of the population. Unlike the other well known personality disorders, namely cluster B personality disorders, avoidant personality disorder is understudied and often underlooked. People who struggle with AVPD rarely victimize others, and the skirmish involved is typically deeply embedded and internal. Feelings of dread, inadequacy are strongly apparent with this disorder. There is a longing for love, intimacy, and inclusion. However, due to inferior feelings and doubt, these basic human necessities just seem out of reach. Feeling socially inept, those with AVPD often live life on the sidelines. They're the outsiders looking in. Though there is a lack of research in AVPD, mental health professionals are not fully. There is also a strong lack of people with this disorder stepping out to seek help due to extreme and often irrational fears of exposing themselves and showing vulnerability needed to seek understanding and acceptance. Today, I'm going to analyze my own birth chart and see why I suffer from AVPD myself. I will demonstrate what exactly is afflicting me in ways I have taken the steps to overcome the disruption of AVPD has caused me. I will also show ways avoidant personality disorder is still affecting me and why it isn't easy to subdue these urges. Due to the lack of people coming forward and participating in studies and seeking help, I don't have much other astrological evidence to go off. So if you have AVPD and would like more understanding of yourself, your struggles, and your potential solutions, please reach out to me. My contact info will be down below. Over time, I want to slowly accumulate my own astrological data of natal charts to conduct my own research. Also, take a second to give this video a quick like and share this with a loved one who may struggle with something I described. Want to know more about AVPD? Be sure to watch this video and share this video as well. If you're interested, you can read the blog article I wrote on my website. All right, so this is my own birth chart, like I said, because I don't have anyone else's to go off. But I think first and foremost, we're going to talk about Pluto, which is conjunct my Libra rising here. So Libra rising is someone who is fair and diplomatic and seeks balance and harmony in life. However, with Pluto being conjunct, that changes the story a lot. In mythology, Pluto was the lord of the underworld, Hades in Greek mythology. He bore the helm of invisibility, so he's able to turn invisible and go throughout the realms as he pleased, unseen. So that's probably something people with AVPD wish they often had, so they can just turn invisible and nobody see them, and they can just observe and have their peace and quiet and not deal with their internal anxieties. So whatever Pluto touches, it kind of obscures and hides. So this fair, diplomatic, loving, harmonious seeking aspect of myself, of my ascendant, is obscured and hidden by this dark, tantalizing energy. And it's also about your appearance and how you are viewed intermittently and superficially by the world. So people might see me as this dark, brooding individual that might not want to cross. So that doesn't really help this open, welcoming energy of love and acceptance that Libra often gives. Pluto is also about trauma and neglect. And people often associate the first house with infancy. This is when you're born. This is kind of like early childhood, and this is growing up and where you get married and develop intimate relationships with each other. You die and it starts all over again. So this kind of indicates having Pluto here on the ascendant in the first house, that trauma and neglect and suffering were very early on in my life, which unfortunately it was right from the get-go. So these early childhood adversities I experienced obscured and hid my appearance to the world, my cordial, diplomatic, seeking relationships obscured by all these adverse events that happened in my childhood. The solution is Pluto burns you before you can rise again. It's Phoenix energy. It burns you to a pile of ashes so you can rise and learn and become stronger from that trauma. The trauma happens for a reason. I developed AVPD for a reason. If evolutionary astrology teaches you anything, that nothing is a coincidence. So this is my life path here. And Pluto on my rising sign is a big aspect of that. Okay. We're going to go over next to Saturn, which is also in my first house. It's not making a conjunction to my Libra ascendant. It's actually in a totally different sign. It's 10 degrees in Scorpio. So while not quite as strong, still has a significant impact. Anything that is in these angular houses here, the first, fourth, seventh, and 10th house, are very significant in your chart. Anyway, Saturn is about limiting restrictions, setting rules and boundaries, and hardship in your life. It makes you work hard for everything. And in the first house, it makes you work hard. It brings you difficulties. And again, very early on in life, since this is kind of like the newborn stage, a lot of people view that as. And it's in Scorpio. So it's about psychology and transformation and trauma again. Also, another interesting fact about this is Saturn often delays things and it rules time. I was born a month late. My mom had to have a C-section. So there's often complications with kids that are born late with autism, which is a whole other topic I'll eventually get into. But your first house and your ascendant, again, this harmony seeking, relationship seeking energy of peace, and we all should just get along, is delayed and restricted because of Saturn. So I have this heavy Pluto energy and this heavy Saturn energy in my first house, which is limiting my personality. It's limiting how I associate with the world and how people see me and how people view me and how I interact with people on a very whimsical, superficial basis. So I'm not going up and approaching people and talking to them. In fact, they might see me and be a little afraid of me, or I'm mysterious to them. If you have any of these placements in your birth chart, let me know down in the comments. And if you want to know more about your birth chart, go ahead and contact me, or you can book a reading yourself. But I do want to build this astrological data bank of people with AVPD and see the correlations and help you find solutions. So the solution of having Saturn here in the first house in Scorpio is I need to work through this trauma. I need to do it alone. All these adverse experiences I received as a kid and probably in past lives, and the nurturance and love and the neglect I received as an infant, I need to overcome and work through it in a very efficient yet thorough manner. I can't cut corners. I can't just wing it with Saturn here in the first house. I really have to go deep because Saturn or Scorpio and Pluto are about emotional depth and surfacing things that are subconscious and unconscious and bringing it to the surface. So I need to work through those things and learn heavy lessons, and I will develop wisdom and I can develop this elder type authority figure, and I can help others and guide others who are afflicted by this crippling disorder as well. Next, we're going to look at Gemini moon in the 8th house in Gemini. So your moon is your emotional state. It's going to make you feel safe and secure and happy in what you need in life in order to express yourself and be vulnerable and open up and receive love. Gemini is a very intellectual sign, and the moon is very emotional. So there's not a whole lot of compatibility. A lot of people say this is one of the most difficult placements for the moon, especially since it's in the 8th house. But the 8th house is related to Pluto. It's actually ruled by Pluto and associated with Scorpio. So a lot of similar things. It's also about sexuality and intimacy and developing these strong bonds and relationships with people, especially in a sexual nature. It's about sharing resources and sharing love. So I have this deep longing for love and opening up and being vulnerable and emotional depth. But I over intellectualize things with this Gemini because Gemini rules intellect and communication and media and writing and interviewing. And it's very surface level, superficial things. It's just kind of like ADHD scattered all over the place. My mood, there's also mood dysregulation that's associated with AVPD, and you're going to have a strong fluctuation of mood changes because this is a mutable sign. It's a duality sign. It's the twins. So my moods may be unstable. So this is keeping me from developing these deep, intimate bonds that I want to develop. They need to be very intellectual in nature, and it's just kind of hard to find people who to talk to who are intellectual and avoid the small talk like I do. So my emotional needs aren't being met because I need some deep intellectual conversations here, and I'm just not getting them because of all this stuff going on here, and there's other things that I'm going to talk about as well. Next, we're going to go to the South Node, which is about karma, past lives, these deeply ingrained, built-in tendencies that are unconscious and we don't always realize we're doing, and they kind of hold us back and keep us in our comfort zone. They're in Sagittarius, which is about ideals and dogma. It could be about religion or spirituality, things that require belief, higher education, philosophy, things that you subscribe to. And in the second house is about resources and money and hoarding things or keeping things to yourself, your body, things that you value, your own personal values. So with the Sagittarius, these old dark tendencies of hoarding knowledge, and I stick to these rigid belief systems about myself and about others. And it's making a conjunction to Uranus here and a very strong conjunction to Mars. So I hypothesized in a past life that I was my grandfather. My grandfather was a veteran in World War II in Korea. And I guess after that, he couldn't stop killing. So he became a mercenary for years and years and years. He actually went down to South America. He traveled and he got paid money, second house, to kill people. And it's also squaring my son, but I'm getting off topic here. Anyways, so I was this very horrible person who victimized a lot of people. So now I think I am paying the price for that. So I have these rigid belief systems. I don't like to open up to other people and hear what they have to say and what they have to think. And that kind of makes me weird and it makes me different with that Uranian energy. I rebel and I end up isolating because I can't connect with other people. The solution there, of course, is your North Node where you need to go, which is making a conjunction to Chiron over here in the 8th house where my moon and Gemini reside. So I need to be more open to other people's views, what other people value. The 8th house is about other people's values. The second house is about what you value personally. So I need to communicate and talk because that's what rules Gemini. I'm going to do a continuation of this video ever since I kind of thought about this video and wrote my blog article, which you can read at nicholsastrology.com. You get this wound here. So I won't go into Chiron too much, but I have this wound around communication and talking and expressing myself, but I need to go that way. I need to talk to others, interview others, investigate others, and learn about them, expand and broaden my horizons. That's it for this video. Like I said, I am going to do a continuation eventually, but go ahead, like, share, subscribe if you have AVPD and have any of these configurations in your chart yourself. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching.